Reynoldstown was founded in 1847 in this beautiful mountainous region of the Northeast. It started with a population of just 9. And this day, in 1881, we are bustling with a hardy population of 37, with a soon expected newborn to the Thomas Weaver family to make 38. Our main staple here is coal. It started that way, is today, and I imagine will always be. Over half of the men in this quiet little community work in the Union coal mine. I've heard a day's wages for these hard-working fellas is $2.25. It's hard to find such a high income anywhere in these parts. In the valley here, below these high mountain ranges, the water falls endlessly, fresh, cool, and clear. The trees, rock, and wildlife are as plentiful as can be. We became a train town at the end of 1853. Now I'll get back to that in a moment. In the summer of 1855, old man Spencer struck silver. What really happened was that he had lost 2 silver dollar coins and then found both of them in his field, right where he dropped them. But the story, or rumor, that circulated around town was that he struck silver. Well, this story spread like wildfire, and a few newspapers ran with the story. And these news folks didn't even bother to check the truth of the claim. Reynoldstown, rich with silver, was one of those headlines. Well, I'll tell you, within a month of Sundays, our population rose upward 100 people seeking their silver fortune. There were makeshift cabins, shacks, and tents all over the place. Now, I said we became a train town. Well, it was that train that allowed so many fortune seekers in such a short amount of time. But the fortune seekers left this place as quickly as they came. It didn't take long for them to realize the silver strike was just 2 silver dollar coins. And there were some angry folks. But they were at fault here for believing the newsprint and not looking into this further. But those news writers are to take just as much blame here for this unfounded claim of silver in Reynoldstown. This affected some of those travelers' lives completely. Some gave up everything they had to find their fortune, but instead were empty-handed with nothing to return to. I hope a lesson was learned and these news reporting paper companies find integrity and verified truth in the information they pass out to the trusting citizens. This makes me realize just how dangerous the news folks can be with the information they publish. Just imagine if they reported on current events and important politics in this same manner. Just spewing unfounded, opinionated mess. That kind of unethical practice could be devastating to a society and downright criminal. These newspaper folks have to understand their role and dependence on them being completely ethical and trustworthy. Well, I'll get off my soapbox here because I don't really believe we would have news people in this great country that would lower themselves to such a despicable level of a human being. May 19th, 1860 is a day we will never forget. On this day, the steam locomotive 866 was on her run out of town when her boiler exploded. In an instant, the engineer and his firemen lost their lives. The railroad company took no blame and placed it all on the crew. Most of us believe that the old steam engine was overworked and not maintained well. When she would go by, you could see small amounts of steam leaking past a few of her iron rivets. Well, all I can say is bless those 2 families that were left with this somber loss. The old 866 still sits today, right here where she took her last breath. It sits as a reminder of progress, but also the lives lost to achieve that progress. Oh, here comes the Pennsylvania 226, and she's sporting some spanking new passenger coach cars. I think I'll walk down and ask the conductor for a peek inside one of these beauties. And there's old man Spencer. Yes, the same one with the silver coins. He loves the train, and just like clockwork, he stands under the great tree to bask in her glory every time the train comes in. This town is a simple one and slowly grows as time passes. The good Dr. Longstreet and his missus joined our community from Chicago just a few months back. And here's our church, the pride of the community, led by the Reverend Robert White. He's been preaching the word here for many years. He was just a boy when Reynoldstown was founded. Reverend White was one of the original population of 9. Well, I hope you've enjoyed the majestic land and mountains of this little town and the beauty and serenity of our home right here in Reynoldstown. Speed. Speed. Rolling. Rolling. Slate. Train. Scene 4. Take 2.